He's just starting the second year of his administration. So if you look at all of these challenges, and we've had these individuals across political parties. The PDP was there from 1999 till 2015 when they lost the election, and then the formation of the APC, coming together of the ACN, the CPC, a faction of APGA, some PDP members, and a couple of other, in quote, little political parties coming together to form that coalition, the merger that brought in the APC. And if you look at the composition of the APC, in fact, on Thursday, Mr. OPEYEMI would be joining me. He's the head of political desk of Guardian newspaper, and we're going to go through that chronicle from 2015 to where we are right now, 9 years of the same APC. I mean, and you look at those words in terms of, there are the progressives within the APC, there are the conservatives within the APC, there are some people that came with former President Muhammadu Buhari, CPC, some people came with current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ACN. I mean, we have these conversations on Thursday, so you can't afford to miss the show on Thursday. But we're here today, and on the show today, we're going to be focusing a little more on what it takes to drive democracy down to the grassroots. I would have someone, that operates within the theoretical aspect of democracy and also actively participate in the practical aspect of it. Yes, I'm having the vice chairperson of a local government in Lagos here join me live in the studio. She's just a few minutes away from the studio, and together we'll go through that journey. Why is it difficult for the people to feel the impact of democracy, especially at the grassroots? Yes, the big conversation, the autonomy of local government, to be or not to be. There are cases in the Supreme Court now. The Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, took the 36 state governors to the Supreme Court and say, you need to give absolute autonomy based on the provision of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended section 7 subsection 21 and article 1 and 11 that clearly explains how the local government should and must be established. Well, I mean, there's so much to talk about in respect to how local government should function, how local government should operate, how local government should exist as an entity, as a third tier of government on its own. Well, do you think the governors have too much control on local government? I mean, you see now where governors are commissioning, markets at the local government, and you see governors now, or representative of governors coming to commission boreholes at the local government level. What exactly is the function of a local government chairman? We'll talk about all of that on the show today. Barrister OLUFUNKE Hassan would be in the studio with me in the next couple of minutes. She's the vice chairperson of Onigbongbo Local Council Development Area in Lagos here. So it's a family affair, and we're going to drive you through today. Once again, you're welcome. It's the Situation Room, and my name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE, and I want to believe that you've been having a good day so far. It's Tuesday, and don't forget the big one, 1 to 3 p.m. tomorrow. It's midweek politics, and we're going to unravel a lot for you tomorrow, especially as tomorrow is the 12th of June, which is our democracy day. Remember, it used to be the 29th of May, but in recognition of the part or the roles that the Abiola family played in the democracy we're enjoying at the moment, the government under the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari had decided to honor the Abiolas, the memory of the late Moshood Kashima Wolawale Abiola, with the June 12th being the democracy day. Remember, just a couple of days back was the 28th remembrance of the assassination of the wife of the late Moshood Kashima Olawale Abiola. That's Madam Kudirat Abiola, a pro-democrat to the core, that was assassinated somewhere along Oregon 28 years ago, specifically on the 6th of June. Yes, and then I have the son, yes, one of our sons, Abdul Mumuni Abiola, joined me on the show on that day, to talk about the journey and to talk about how it's been the last 28 years, and most especially, how do you think the democracy we have right now is a reflection of what your parent or your late parents fought for while they are still here? So it's tomorrow, and it's just a big time for Side Fund and I to look into some of our major political events from 1992, Hope 93, what came up with the renewed hope in 2023. That's about 30 years after. we'll look into all of that tomorrow. But today, we're going to be looking at how the local government helps in driving down the dividends of democracy to the people. I'll take a very quick break, and then when we'll come back, my guest will be here. I will get straight up into the conversation. Once again, I will be having Barrister OLUFUNKE HASSAN, the Vice Chairman of Onigbongbo Local Council Development Area of Lagos State, on a conversation today. You can't afford to miss this. I'll be back.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but yes, not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday a perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is where I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join OPEYEMI AKINYODE as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you your next as we discuss the situations.
Okay, you're welcome. We really needed to take that very quick break, get a breather, and get straight up into the conversation today. Like I said, we're going to be looking at local government administration and how difficult is it for us to, drive the dividends of democracy down to the grassroots, especially as they always say, every politics is local. A whole lot of people would probably never get to see their president for 8 years one-on-one, or even their governors. But I can wake up today and knock on the door of my local government chairman and place my demands on his table. So it's the tier of government that is expected to be the closest to the people. That's why you hear local government saying, oh, we paid for WAEC forms, we paid for JAM, or we paid for this and that, because it is basically the system where people have zero expectations in terms of, oh, do the big deals. No, we don't want you to. Just give us markets at the local government level. Make sure that our sanitation programs is effective and is good. Hey, well, I said it the other time. I said I have someone that operates on both sides, from the theoretical aspect of political literacy and the practical aspect of it. Well, the vice chairperson of Onigbongbo Local Council Development Area is live in the studio with me, Barrister OLUFUNKE HASSAN. Thank you so much for spending time or finding time to be with me on the show today.
Thank you, Okwe. Thanks for having me again.
Okay. First off, I would, before we go into the political conversation today, I would want to tell me how easy is it for that transition. You're part of the board members of the Electoral College. By the way, Kunle was with me on the show last week Tuesday to celebrate the 5th year of the Electoral College, and then it was a conversation that had a lot of interest from the callers. Calls, messages even after the show, and all of that. But over time, I've looked at what the Electoral College does, and then how they've been able to, connect with the people at the grassroots in terms of, political literacy. You happen to be part of the Electoral College that practices the theoretical part of political literacy. On the other side, you're also the vice chairperson of a local government. That means let me put it this way, you eat from both sides of the mouth. What is that transition like? And talk to us about that experience.
I would call it eating from both sides of the mouth. I would call it more like having a proper foundation
and a basis. I joined Electoral College. In fact, I joined on their cohort. I was already in politics. I was already the assistant legal advisor for APC in Onibungu LCD when I joined Electoral College as a cohort. I took their cohort, and my motivation for joining then was because I had started my journey in politics, and I knew where I was going to. I knew what goals I had in mind. I knew where I wanted to focus. I knew I wanted to do it differently than most of the people who are there are doing it. So I wanted a proper foundation, a proper basis. I studied law in university. I didn't do political science. So I wanted to know, okay, well, how should it be? What should really obtain? Because what is happening right now is obviously an aberration.
Not ideal.
It's not ideal. So that's when I joined Electoral College, and while I was there, I found it to be exactly what I needed to help me in my political journey at that time, and they became a family. I was once the deputy director for Lagos State, and then we continued the journey together, and then I became a board member.
So, I like the fact that you said you've been maybe not where you are right now politically, but you've been at the periphery of your political journey when you got into it. So what you learned from the books of the Electoral College and what you face every day as a local government chairperson or vice chairperson rather, what more do you think needs to be done in terms of educating people politically, in terms of getting people to be involved in the decision-making process of politics?
First of all, I'll say Electoral College is doing an amazing job, but Electoral College cannot do it alone. We need more people who have seen the framework that Electoral College is operating to actually join in. We need different angles, different arms, more people coming up to actually push that drive for awareness. Because the one thing I've learned between where the gap is between the theoretical expressions of politics and the practical expression is the problem of civic engagement. Citizen participation is what needs to really fill that gap before you can actually get what obtains, what should obtain. There's structure everywhere. I will tell you that from my angle, my view, people can disagree with me. I can tell you that administration and government, they have wonderful structures that are not obsolete if they are implemented properly. Now, what stops these things from being implemented the way they're supposed to do? Citizen participation. Now, Electoral College is doing a fantastic job creating awareness. They're teaching, they're calling, they're shouting, but they can't do it alone. We need a lot of people to join in the voice. Nearly 4 years ago, we had the local government elections, and I remember then Electoral College had started the cry that people need to be aware of what's going on in their local government. Electoral College had started teaching people how important local government was, what local government means in their everyday lives. But still, when the polls came, the day of the polls came, the voter apathy was
bad,
was terrible. And it was almost like, were people not listening? Conversations had started quite all right. On Twitter, people had started taking note, but the turnout was still really, really low. So we need more hands on deck. If we have proper citizen participation, we have them at the polls. Like you said, now you can stroll to your local government. How many people do that? How many people actually understand what the local government should do? Not many. And not many even think of even going near their local government. If you ask most people, they don't even know who their local government chairmen are. If you ever ask them, okay, point out where a local government secretariat is, they don't know. So how is this going to work?
So let's get straight up into the conversation now. If there's one particular thing that had dominated our political journey, especially from this Fourth Republic, that's from 1999 till now, it is the issue of local government autonomy. And I've had engagement with quite a lot of people within the political space, and it's something a lot of them want to avoid for whatever reason. And 2 weeks ago, the Attorney General of the Federation actually took all of the 6 state governors to court, to the Supreme Court, and they were given 7 days to respond, and the issue is still going on. I've seen a lot of engagement that you do as a person and as with the office you occupy. But what is the big issue in respect to local government autonomy? And I saw your post on Instagram in respect to this show, and I said let us challenge the status quo. So that's exactly what we're doing on this show today. Why is it difficult for governors to hands off administration of local government?
I'm going to be speaking theoretically
Okay.
and in hearsay on this, because Lagos State has to be commended. Lagos State actually does give local governments their financial autonomy. No local government can say that they don't collect their allocation in Lagos State.
No.
No. I stand to be corrected that there's any local government that can actually say that they do not receive their allocations in local government. They all do. The only challenge that might be that we might see in that autonomy is that local governments are not receiving their funds directly from the federal to a local government purse. It goes straight into the state joint account first. But that isn't to say that when it gets to the state joint account, Lagos State is holding on to their money. They are not. Unfortunately or fortunately, there are some overlapping functions between the states and the local government. So, for instance, some parks, some roads, street lights, sometimes when the state sees that the local government is not functioning,
They take it over.
and then they deduct the monies for that from the local government. So in that area, but it's always very straightforward. There's a reason for that deduction before they disperse to local government. By the time they abolish, when this autonomy hopefully comes through, the state joint accounts will be abolished, and then local governments can receive their money directly from federal. Lagos State has no problem with that. But with other states, that's speaking with my own counterparts, some states, they don't even do elections.
It's election.
They just have, they will have a caretaker committee. Now, that caretaker committee is just a front to siphon all the local government funds. So the local government is just a paper face there. They're not able to interface with the people. They're not able to actually give that handshake of democracy because they're just dummies. Some other local governments in some other places, yes, they might have elected officers, but still their monies are
By the governors.
they're taken over by the governors. There's some controversial cases where people have tried to speak up from local governments and they've gotten backlash, and it actually shows that those local governments don't have their own autonomy. They don't have their own separate powers and functions. So that's why some states are not willing to let go of the local governments and let them have their autonomy. It's really just about the money. And by the time local governments have their autonomy, the spotlight will now come on how terrible some states are performing. Their woeful performance will be out there. So this is how badly you are doing. So it's a matter of cover up and also greed, corruption, and sitting on funds.
Now let's look at how important it is for us to have true autonomy at the local governments. You know, I've been on assignment to cover events where representative of governors have come to commission boreholes at the local governments, 2-kilometer roads. I've seen where the governors or the deputy governors have come to commission local markets at the local government. Those are statutory responsibilities of local government chairmen. How important it is for us to have genuine autonomy in terms of driving down the dividends of democracy for the people.
You see what you just said about a deputy governor coming to commission a market, exactly what I said. By the time the local governments are separate and they're autonomous, you see how badly your government is performing. Because if your governor has work to do, the deputy governor has his function and they're performing, they will not have time to come and commission a local government market or come and commission a 2-kilometer road. But that's what they're using to now bolster and make it look like they're actually working, but they're not doing anything. Autonomy is important also for accountability. Because you know how much of the federal allocation that actually being pushed towards local government. When the president was removing subsidy and he said he's not sitting on the money, he wasn't lying. That money is being distributed, it's being circulated back to the states and to the local governments. So I'm sure one of the reasons right now the federal government is pushing for that autonomy because they need and they want accountability of that money. Because the grassroots isn't being affected. They're still, because the president actually said that where is this money going to? We are not seeing what it is doing. It is really not fair. Because if your local government is working effectively, some of these things that cause you to worry, they have been taken care of by the states. Your local government is supposed to provide some cushioning, some sort of welfareism. So you're not really bothered about how much dollar is, because most of your basic needs have been taken care of by your local government. They've taken care of your health. They've taken care of your kids' education. Where you need it, your local government will send you palliative. Where your children need it, they have scholarships. If you are selling tomatoes, if you are selling whatever in the market, where you need it, your local government can come in with funding for you. That's how it's supposed to be. That's where you know, okay, you now feel that yes, you have a government in power. Most of what these policies are federal government, how they affect us is a trickle-down effect. It's not coming directly to your life. Imagine your street lights are working fine, your street lights are working perfectly. You have a local government that's operating with creative leadership and they're providing with alternative power supply. You're not even worried about there's no light. Your local governments can take care of that. They should be taking care of that. They should be giving all these discos a run for their money. Break that monopoly of discos, give them a run for their money. Nothing is stopping your look. And thank God the bill has been passed that you can generate. So there's nothing stopping them. We've had meetings with the House of Assembly where they would wonder, they would say, we're not seeing what we want you to be doing. We have people, simple things like even creating parks. Mental health is a big issue. If everyone's taking care of their mental, let people have a place to go to for recreation, to even just calm down. It's a big step. Let the elderly in the community be taken care of. It's a big step. We're giving you this money, but we're not seeing you people do these things. So let's be autonomous. So most of these people, most local government chairmen or councils that are not spending the money judicially, they can stop hiding under the cover of it's the state that's taking their money.
So it's a this way and that way thing.
Yes.
True.
So when you have it, then you account for it. We give an allocation of 300 million, 400 million.
What have you done?
What have you done with it?
So you won't say, oh, I got only 95 million.
The states took
most of it. The states are taking the remaining.
So it works both ways.
Okay, well, in case you're just tuning in, I've been speaking with Barrister OLUFUNKE Hassan. She's the vice chairperson of Onígbòǹgbò Local Council Development Area, and she's also the Southwest Social Secretary for National Young Women in Politics Forum. Am I right? You're doing a lot, by the way. And so now let's focus on your own local council development at LCDA. That's what Onígbòǹgbò is. And when I reached out to you last week that we're going to have this conversation, I just quickly went on some background check, and can you take us through what it's been like? I know you aspire to be the chairperson of the local government. I saw your campaign. I think it was Funky 2021 and I saw all of that. But now you're within that space where you also sit at the table to take these decisions. What has been the journey so far, and how well have you gone in Onígbòǹgbò LCDA?
Well, the journey has been a learning curve.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. It's been a learning curve. For the most part, as most people know, vice chairmen are termed spare tire.
Yeah, sometimes even unused spare tires.
Unused spare tire. You ask some people, your vice is quite sick. Do you bring out spare tire when there's no need for it? There's no need for it. So, but it's still a learning curve. You get to understand where the issues are at the grassroots, and okay, this and these areas are where I'll do better. Like I tell a lot of people, it's been a journey. It's been a bit of a headache. When I first became vice, when I started first joined the local government, my first 4 months, I will carry my bag home. I'll be crying. I'll cry and go home.
You send me message.
Every day I say, I'm not doing again. No, I'm going to resign. I'll call my friend. I'll call my partner. It's okay. I don't have done.
I'm not doing again.
The man will laugh at me. He says he wants to be the first person to set a negative record. He wants to be the first vice chairman that will resign. I'll say I'm not doing. But today, I'm very grateful for where I'm started. I'm grateful that I didn't start at this stage. I'm grateful I started at the level I did start because I was able to marry the orientation I thought I was coming in with. Remember, I was already with the electoral college before I became a vice chairman. So my perspective was different. I was looking at it from a theoretical perspective. So I've been able to join the two.
And for the reality of the Nigerian political space.
So I've been able to adjust to the reality. But I've also been able to understand that with the background from electoral college, that some things are wrong and they cannot stand. So I cannot adjust to some particular things.
That's even with where you are
even
right
with the
now.
reality, there are some things that you should not be able to adjust to. And that's coming from where I'm coming with the electoral college. I cannot adjust to some things because I know better. So we know the reality, and there's some things I won't adjust to because I know better. So how do we collaborate? Because whether one likes it or not, you cannot be gung-ho and decide you're the only person, Chuck Norris, you're going to change the whole political system. It doesn't work that way. So the thing now is, how do you collaborate? How do you bring your fellow people to see your point of view, to understand where you're coming from, for them to know you're not trying to take away their futures or their careers, but we just want a better future for all. It's better for everybody to have water to drink than if you to have champagne to sip on.
Okay, that cuts me there. Again, let's go back to the issue of the local government and the autonomy. I'm really trying to be careful not to put you in a corner where, because I understand, like I said, I reached out to a couple of people for us to have this conversation, and some of them were a bit cold, and I just felt okay, we'll get that. By the way, Mr. Wale Adedayo, that's the former chairman of Ijebu East local government, the chairman that was impeached by his councillors because he asked the governor of Ogun State where his allocations are. He's going to be joining me on Thursday, so it's going to be another conversation entirely. I was supposed to have both of you on Monday, because Tommy was in Abuja. I said, okay, let me just allow him. I want to have him physically in the studio, and he's giving me his word that he's going to be here on Thursday. God spend our lives. But the issue of caretaker committee chairman, some call it interim committee chairman, some people call it caretaker committee chairman. We've seen governors. I can give you endless list. The former governor of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, spent 7.5 years without local government election. He conducted local government election towards the end of his second term, obviously because of the election that is coming in. And I can give you on like that, from Plateau to Jigawa to Niger, all around. State governors have found a way to make a puppet of the local government system. Now, if this autonomy is eventually granted by the courts, how much power does he give a local government chairman? Does that in any way run in contrast with what the government is supposed to do at the state level?
Not at all. The local government is a distinct and a separate entity.
The constitution confirms that.
Yes, with its own powers and functions, and it should be allowed. It should be allowed to demonstrate those powers and functions. The state remains the state. I wouldn't say the only thing. What the assembly should do, from my perspective, is delineate the roles of both clearly. I think that's all that's necessary. Even with what we have in Lagos State, with how our local government chairmen operate, we have some local governments that are doing exceedingly well.
Wow.
I have to mention Ojudu LCD. Odumbaku, he's doing an exceptional job with the welfare of Ojudu people. He started a free bus. He has upgraded the primary health centers, and people like 𝐴̀fàkọ̀ Jaye, local government chairman, they're also doing very, 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 very well. they're working to the extent of their powers. And they're not challenging the state in any way. But you know, absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So there should be some checks and balances, which is the responsibility of the House of Assembly. We have our performance committees. What have you done? Have you done? There should be transparency in those procedures, so the House of Assembly is not seen to be bullying the local government as they are working in their full power. Lagos State local government chairman, they exercise their powers fully. We're just subject to some rules and regulations, which is normal, which I totally agree with. You know, some expenditure we have to go to the ministry to get approvals from, which is normal. If we don't have things like that, we'd have people spending public funds willy-nilly.
So, what is your local council development, the Renubungu? What are you up to? I mean, we're expecting to have local government elections in Lagos anytime soon, by the way. So I've already seen some states constituting their own, CX, that's the States Independent Electoral Commissioners, and we're hoping that Lagos would also come up with. But your scorecard in the last few years, what have you been up to?
I can't give myself a scorecard. It's the people of Onugunwe LCD that will give
I made my research, so I have a couple of stuff here with me. So let's go through it. So maybe you should start. I'll tell you which is right or which is not.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of the issues that local government people have always complained about is majorly interstate, that's inter-street roads, connecting roads. Oh, from one place to the other, from Alaka to Central Mosque. Oh, the road is bad. Is this? They said. Talk to us about the road lines for Onugunwe LCD. What have you done in terms of road development and markets again? Let's start from there.
Oh, we've developed our market. The market at Onugunwe. We've started renovating it. We're building a new market section at Olufunkē by Tipper Garage. We've done some roads. We've done Akirili. We've upgraded them to interlocking. We've worked on Lawal Street in Oregon. We've worked on Lawal Street in Oregon. We've worked on some roads in Jari, like 𝐴ᴟᴏ in Jari.
I'm listening to you. I'm taking my check. Because I know the person I will be having a session with. So I normally did my background check.
I feel like you're about to set me up. I plead the fifth.
Okay.
I shall not incriminate myself.
Okay, so what have been the biggest challenge for you in terms of deliverables, in terms of taking these dividends of one of my mentors would always say, Dr. Mewazi Dandara, that we should stop asking for dividends of democracy. We should start asking for quality life from the people, from the government. What have been the biggest challenges that you've had to face when it comes to getting down to the people at the local government? It's a tough task. I'm going to tell you the fact, because people will tell you that, oh, the local government is expected to do this, forgetting the fact that there's less money and so much to do. Maybe I'll just give you an idea of what some of the challenges are. But what are those major things that you've had to deal with when it comes to assessing the people at the local government and also driving democracy dividends down to them?
One of the problems is that corruption knows no bounds. There's corruption in almost every level. Like if you ask somebody to take care of 20 people, we need to distribute this to 20 people or 30 people. He goes and he puts the 20 things for 20 people, goes and puts it in his korope and then drives off with it. Only 5 people get it. You hear, you're supposed to distribute.
Even at the local government.
Even at the lowest, at the ward level. So you need to be very hands-on to make sure what you are distributing actually gets to the right people. And then, okay, yes, people expect local governments to do so many things, and truly the money is not that much. But there are actually people who are willing to join hands with local governments. We have companies that are willing, because they're companies that operate their businesses. Understand, if the local government is working better, their operations will go smoother. So I think that's an area a lot of people neglect to take advantage of.
So those organizations are ready to be socially responsible?
Yes, they are. There are even international organizations that are ready to be socially responsible at the grassroots and local government levels. but we're not taking advantage of all those things. We have the Clinton Foundation that's ready to work with primary health care at local government level, but we're really not taking advantage of those things.
Because I'm sorry to you're still going to respond to that question. Now, there's a portion of one road around my area. So I think on Sunday I was going home, and then I was talking to the bike guy that picked me, and I was like, there's a big church directly, on that spot. I said, why is it that? He said the church had approached the local government to fix that portion of the road, and the local government said no. Why do you have someone that is wanting to make your job easy and you're saying no? Why?
I've heard of incidences of that, although I've not personally come across that, but I've heard a lot of incidents of, went to local government, wanted to do this, and they said no, wanted to fix them. They wanted to fix the road and they said no. I think, well, from my perspective, I think one of the issues is quality control. They want to be sure whoever is fixing the road, they have some kind of control over, and if they don't do the right thing, they can hold the person accountable. So if it's just a random person that comes to do the road, what if they block a drainage? What if they destroy a fiber cable or destroy some pipes or something important? So I think that's one of the reasons they shy away. But I believe rather than saying an outright no, the local government can say, okay, who is your contractor? Do they want to work with our people?
Or they want to run independent?
They want to run independent. Will they work with local government officials according to how the local government wants it to be done? I think there are ways around this. It doesn't have to be an outright no.
Okay, the phone lines have been buzzing, and I'm sure you have a couple of calls from Odugbongo LCDA. Hopefully, we'll be able to have the chairman for Ojodu LCDA join me on the show next week. Honorable Dumbako is someone I can reach through someone, so I will try to see how we can explore that. He came highly recommended on the show today, courtesy of my guest. So, well, I've been speaking with Barrister Olufunke Rekiya Hassan. She's the vice chairperson for Onígbòǹgbò Local Council Development Area, and then we've looked at the issue of the local government autonomy, to be or not to be. And like I said, the section of the Constitution absolutely spells out what the duties of the local government should do. You can check it out. Section 7, subsection 21, Article 1, 2, 3, and 11 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Clearly it says what a local government should be like, and I can't remember seeing that part where it recognizes caretaker committee chairman or a transition committee chairman, whatever the nomenclature they give to it. Just like my guest said, it's just a way to get control. But hey, you can join the conversation 0913-600-0410, and don't forget, on the turn of 5 o'clock we'll quickly take a break and take the headline news, and then the show would return. So let me take your calls, and we're streaming live on our social media platforms. It's facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM, and on YouTube it's mainland 98.3. so you can actually watch us live and also drop your comment. I'll read them and also pick your calls. Let's get the conversation going. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. This is Olaiwola from Italy.
Mr. Olaiwola, good to have you join us on the show today.
When you are talking about the local government, we are talking about the residual function, total residual function here. I am not questioning your guess. I am not questioning the policies in ground. But the Constitution itself contradicts that fact. After you make that constitutional interpretation, the state have to conducting the election into the local government, and that same constitution also empower a state to make a law for the local government. By this, if the meaning of that constitution, now if the local government if the state can make a law for the local government, it is mean the power that are given the constitution to let the local government operate now. It is mean it can no longer operate because the House of Assembly will take advantage of it. Look at it now. In the local government sector, we have only two arms of government. We have only executive and the legislative. No judicial arm of government in the local government. And this is where we are always talking. If you are talking about the full autonomy of the local government, we are the judicial arm of government in the local government. Are we going to create in the local government judicial council? This is another issue there. Okay? Another area of the local government, this is where the question is now. We are talking about accountability and everybody now. The woman in question there bring their poster to contesting in the local government, and later they make the arrangement and the merger with the real chairman. Their vision is no longer justified because we are in the executive arm of government in the local government. The vice is no longer have effective rule. It's only the chairman and the secretary to the local government has the power in the local government.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Laiwola.
This is the issue here. Are also not giving some people to operating justified. It's only the secretary and the chairman that they have the right to the local government, and the right unknowingly to this operation of local government. How can we control it? That is the question here to be answered.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Of course, my guest also alluded to that fact that here, even deputy governors. I remember when the whole issue on those days was going on with late Akeredolu and Lucky Ayedatiwa. It's always been issue. Deputies that are just there to deputize. If you don't fix it, we know how all of these things work. Hello,
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome.
My name is Lohikole from Yanokpaja.
Mr. Lucky from Yanokpaja. Good to have you.
I really appreciate this lady. She speaks from, one thing is that the ladies are educated people. They don't know how to lie, but when they lie,
Are you serious right
now? I respect her opinion. She's a very plain, for me, I've not met her, but she's a very sincere human being. But the party belongs. That is where the problem I'm having problem with. I'm not going to tell the truth. Because as it be, if they give her the open hand to work, I think we turn that place to other region. Let us see. That church you talk about, I used to pass that place. Not that they cannot do the road. The problem they have is that all those local governments, if the church will go and do that road now, they will not see a Guje to collect. What I'm saying? That's just the problem. Because if the local government do that road, if that road is 2 million, they will add that to 15 million. But if that church want to do that road, they will do that road entirely the amount. That is one of the problems. And secondly, I want to talk about a local government autonomy. Where I will discuss with the ladies that when I know he tried to move is that Lagos State have the obstacle of autonomy to local government. Lagos State and Rivers State. They don't joke with it. How many times they pass the law, they will refuse to join Lagos State and Rivers State. So maybe now as the president, so when you are getting older, you leave your hand for some things so that you go to make heaven. Maybe it's time to leave this one.
Thank
so
you.
You take that to leave Lagos. Let us see how Lagos
Thank you, Mr. Lucky.
So
thank you very much. Please keep the calls coming in, but let's make it as brief as possible. Honorable Rekiya, it's very hard to find other political parties winning local government elections. So you see in Oyo State recently, PDP cleared all of the local government. In Yobe over the weekend, the party in power cleared all of the local government. In Lagos, it is APC all the way. It is that way. How counterproductive to democracy is that particular situation where you don't have opposing voices at the local government level? Everybody's just this way. It is party A, everybody's party A. You go to Kano today, the NNPP won all of the local government. You go to Jigawa, the PDP wins all the local government. Why is it this way?
See, one of the problems is that voter apathy I mentioned earlier on. It's a vicious cycle. Now, if you see that people are not coming to the polls, elections are not cheap. It is not a cheap thing to campaign. Would you want to gamble that money away knowing that you most likely not have that support at the polls? You won't. So it's kind of killing opposition in any state because they know, oh, we don't have that support from the office of the citizen. But if citizens were coming out for local government elections en masse, it might not happen in the first circuit, or the second circuit, but you see that election by election, the opposition is getting stronger because they have a hope. Now, if I know that people don't go to vote, I'm not going to come out and spend my money to make posters. Elections are really expensive. Yes, you need volunteers to work with you. You're not going to do your rallies. Your rallies cost money. You print t-shirt. You do face cap. The people who are going up and down to not
give them mobilization.
Yes, nobody is going to go and nobody Somebody's going to canvas for you for free.
Let me hear this caller. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. This is JD from Larry.
Mr. JD, good to have you on the show today.
Let me spend time to talk. That is the area I was born. I grew up, primary, secondary, university, Olufunke. See, the late chairman, the party, Alhaji Balogun, 2021. I remember I want to find out from the lady. The chairman now is Mr. Otun, right?
Mr. Dotun Olakunle.
Dotun. They wanted to choose Dotun before they now dropped Dotun and made Tunde Oke the chairman. And Tunde Oke, you know, he stays like Iḽᴏ Sharafa. You have water in Ulufunke. The problem I had with Ulufunke was when I was there, I told them, I said, PC will not win this year. I was tired, nothing in Ulufunke. The only thing we had in Ulufunke was that tap. As if you're going to the central mosque, Ulufunke central mosque, coming from Jaula Street, just behind the town hall. That was the only thing we had the dividend of democracy. And I told the people there, I said, Mr. Oke was campaigning and some other people. I said, those people will not win. No. You know what happened? Somebody brought AK-47 and said, Jude, I will kill you in this area. How? I saw you grow up. Yes, I will kill you. Say, are you money? Who are you? To come and choose for us. Because they know I can mobilize. On social media, I am massive. On the ground, I am massive. If I post pictures, post everything, I started training all those guys in that area. And they told me, they will kill you. He told my elder sister, say, oh, your brother very well, I will kill him if you don't control him. So I look at Ulufunke. I remember when Otuna became the chairman because Mr. Oke died. You understand? Now I keep saying that health center, what are they doing concerning the health center? What are they doing concerning Olafidi Street? Where reinforce Olafidi is a terrible environment.
Absolutely not accessible.
Not God bless you. In the area I go, Baba, I go there every Sunday to play with my friends. I still go there to play with Ulufunke. If I call my phone name now, people will shout.
Thank you, JD.
They know me.
Thank you. So I can help you with the calling of the full name, but I won't. On Facebook, Benjamin says he's talking to my guest, and he says, can your guest tell us what the local government of Lagos State are receiving from the state government are actually what they should be receiving from the federation accounts? Let your guest tell us what achievement the Lagos State local government chairmen and councillors have made in the past years, where most streets in Lagos are not motorable, markets are dirty, drainage blocked. We're in Lagos and we don't feel the impact of government of all sorts. Now, why do we need to inform the people in respect to which of these roads should, of course, we know that there are federal roads, there are state roads, there are local government roads. How do we drive that sensitization to the people so that they know that, oh, this road does not belong to the local government to fix? Or you think ideally for every democracy, the people first?
Two things can be correct. The people first. That's why we're in office. The people first. But yes, they are clearly stated, because by the time the local government start using its funds to fix what belongs to the state, we don't have the funds to direct to the proper places. So, like I said, we need more awarenesses. This is the technological age. Local governments should have websites, well-detailed websites. All local governments should have well-detailed websites. If you have a map, geographical expression of your maps of your local government, and you can outline what streets actually belong to the local government. I heard one of your callers complain that the streets are dirty, the markets. That's one of the things the drive for autonomy will bring. We can clearly define and demonstrate what the local government should be doing. This is your local government. These are the boundaries. This is the area. These are the streets in it that belong to it to be fixed. So if your road is bad, doesn't even have to get to a deplorable, unmotorable state. You should know who your councillor is. Your councillor should belong to that ward. That's the smallest unit. Your councillor, tell your councillor, reach out to your councillor. This place is getting bad. They're not just there to make bylaws. They're also there to bring feedback. They're representing the people. Those are your House of Rep members at local government level. My people are complaining about XYZ. Push for it. The funds are limited, yes, but if we're able to satisfy all round to an extent, Okay.
People should just have, a touch of these things. Okay, interesting messages are pouring in. Keep your calls coming in as well. Okay. Let me do this one first, then we'll come on Facebook. This one says, good evening. My name is Festus from Egbeda. Your guest has spoken well, but please help us ask the chairman of Aᴜᴛᴏ local government what he has been doing with all of the monies they've been collecting. And all local government chairmen should be coming on this show to give accounts. Okay, Festus, thank you very much. I think Aᴜᴛᴏ local government is a country on it. I must confess that the discourse have been so informative and insightful. Since we claim we practice a federal system of government, I think the local government autonomy is very pertinent for a better governance at the grassroots. Please, I reside in Olufosun for 3 months or more than that. The PSP operators have not come to our areas. Thank you. Okay. More calls. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
You're welcome.
This is Prince from Ojo.
Okay, Prince, you're welcome to the show.
Live today.
Thank you.
Thanks for your information. We're getting a lot from your effort. But I want to ask a question. Which is the worst local government in Lagos State, if one may ask?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know, Prince. How do I know?
Okay, find out maybe as a journalist. Go around Badagry, Ojo, and Ajibu. That is Ifelodu.
In fact, you've almost directed me to where I think your answer can come from, right? between Vokes and Ajambadi, where you have Alaba International Market, it's a neighborhood area. One of the biggest places that gives Lagos government revenue. If you go there, you will pay Lagosians. So I'm not happy that at this stage, Lagos State is in a slum. That's supposed to be a mega city. If you go to Badagry, Prince, I'm sure you'll be able to call back on the turn of 5 o'clock. But we need to pause now. We need to take a very quick break, just a few minutes, take the line news and also pay some bills. In case you're just tuning in, I've been speaking with Barrister OLUFUNKE REKIYA HASSAN. She's the vice chairman of Onigbongbo Local Council Development Area, and we've looked at this issue of local government autonomy, to be or not to be, the pros and the cons, who gains, who would be at a loss if local government get effective autonomy. That means they can get their own monies direct from the federation account. There's no unnecessary or unexplainable deduction chairman and the governors. And if you ask all of them, they'll say, oh, our governor is doing us well. When we come back, I will continue the conversation. It's been an amazing time, and I'm seeing your messages on Facebook. Keep that coming. 0913-600-0410 is the station room, live on mainland 98.3 FM. My guest is still here. I will drive it down till 5:30.
In your market become more and more crowded. It's time to break it open and really stand out. Broken Air is here
on mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Headline news on 98.3 mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Democracy Day. President Tinubu to address Nigerians on Wednesday. Jonathan urges Tinubu and National Assembly to remodel democracy in Nigeria. Vice President Shettima, Governor Abiodun and others for Ojude-Oba Festival. Nigeria Southwest governors adopt common agenda, renew call for state police. Chief of Army Staff directs investigation into alleged brutalization of civilian workers by soldiers. On the foreign scene, Malawi's vice president's plane wreckage found. No survivors. In sports, heartbreak as Barcelona star set to miss Euro 2024 opener due to injury. That's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
When the airwaves in your market become more and more crowded. It's time to break it open and really stand out. Broken Air is here.
On Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's na why anytime when I dey cook like this, I dey always season am with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, patashe, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Na im make my pikin dem dey always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
You see?
All your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
You have had water-shed cement and confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Naija. Ogbonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Naija. You have had water-shed cement number one. You have had waterproof cement Good full step for water wahala. With Lafayette water-shed cement, water to collect. From Jam House, foundation and basement to go. Ogbonge cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Naija.
Put full stop for water wahala.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's na why anytime when I dey cook like this, I dey always season am with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, patashe, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Na im make my pikin dem dey always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
You see?
All your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Mainland 98.3 FM.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but yes, now. If there were
In our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday a perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man. There is nothing. We are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join OPEYEMI AKINYODE as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you your minutes as we discuss the situations.
You're welcome back. Thank you very much for being with us since we started this conversation at 4 p.m. We're driving home. By 5:30, we'll say our goodbyes on the show. And I want to appreciate everyone that have been on the line since we started this conversation, the calls, the messages, and the feedbacks on our social media platforms. Facebook.com/mainland98.3 FM. Drop your comments and 0913-600-0430 for messages, 0913-600-0410 for calls. Let's get it on. Let me read your message. By the way, I've been speaking with Barrister 괶 Hassan, the vice chairperson for Onibungo Local Council Development Area. Before your principal start calling us, Rekia, so they're calling you chairman. I'm still here. Good evening. This is from Tᴏᴜ Thompson from Obaniko. It says the president can and should break into pieces all of the obstacles against the local government autonomy. What is the performance index of these governors? You're quoting Said Fuad, and it says, is he not telling the position that the Nigerian bills or nothing? And he said, look, I suggest that the President Tinubu government should abolish every legal instrument, if any, that encourages security votes, constituency allowances, and vote of local government funds going to the governors. This should be done with immediate effect, to be taken serious before talking to Nigerians on the 29th of May or 12th of June or any other of such. Again, let me talk to Pastor Ambrose. Hello, good evening.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Interestingly, I was not concentrating because I had to guess. What I know, I heard the voice of the vice chairperson of the Onígbòǹgbò local government. And I also know that you are talking about local government autonomy and all of that.
Yeah.
You see, if you ask me, I will tell you that what we need in this country is beyond all of this. The first thing that we need to fight in this country, honestly, is corruption. We need to fight corruption headway, because whatever the laws that we make, if corruption is still there, it's not going to work. Okay, you saw what happened now, where some people from the north said that cow can move. Okay, imagine. They want to control how cow will not be destroying crops. And so people are telling us that cow has freedom of movement. These are some of the realities that is on ground. What I believe we need to do is for us to first of all talk about accountability and transparency. Or if you are giving local government 500 million, they should tell us what they are using it for. Because even if the local government is autonomous, the same thing that is happening at the federal and state will still happen at the local government. I give you example about Lagos State that concerns us. Of where there is so much rot there, there are certain things that we don't need to see on radio. So it's not as if it's going to be any better. Even with all of this, a lot of them now, they are preparing to relocate to the UK based on the allocations that they get every month, even when they are still under state governors. So I think for me, the only solution to all of this is transparency, accountability, and more importantly, corruption should be fought headway long, and it has to start from the top.
Thank you.
Mr. President is romancing corruption. I'm telling you the truth. If it fight corruption today, everything we say. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ambrose. 0913-600-0410. Keep your calls coming in. Some messages also. Fred A. Itsua on Facebook says, your guest is a very honest person. I love how she answered your questions. Thank you very much. This one says, irrespective of how we view democracy, whatever policy that does not affect the people at the local government level is not preaching democracy. That's Sunday from Ikorodu. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Your name, where are you calling from?
Tayo calling from Ogba.
Mr. Tayo from Ogba, okay?
Yeah. Well, if you want to fight corruption, let Nigerians elect their judges, prosecutors. You know, when we elect them, then we can fight corruption. About the local government autonomy or whatever, I don't know why all this to City of Dallas. is bigger than the whole of Lagos State. The whole of Lagos State can fit inside city of Dallas, which is the local government. Let's turn these 36 states, turn them to 36 local governments. We don't need governors. Mr. OPEYEMI, can you tell me the name of the governor in the United Kingdom? That is our colonial master, those who came to colonize us. They don't have governor in their country. So what are we doing with governors? Let's have 36 local governments in the whole country. All this BARR, autonomy with this. So anybody that wanted to run a local government should have that IQ and capacity to run the country. Local government is not something we leave for the people with the lower cadre. You know, okay? That is why the state governors are cheating them. Yes, all these governors turn them to local government chairman. Then all this BARR will stop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. This one says, good evening. Your guest is not speaking like a Nigerian politician. Is okay. I can't take the other part of the message. But thank you very much. I don't know what you mean by not speaking like a typical Nigerian politician, but it's okay. Maybe I'll show my guest the other part of the message. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. OPEYEMI.
You're welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Mr. Austin calling from Shangisha.
Mr. Austin from Shangisha, you're welcome.
You see, what I want to contribute is that I support local government autonomy, but the truth of the matter is that those local government administrators, they are so corrupt. So if there is a way the state government or they are going to, they're going to curb corruption among them, to understand, make them to be accountable for whatever they are giving to them, I think it's going to be okay. They need to be monitored very well to see how they spend the fund that is given to them. But if not that, the local government administrators, they are very corrupt, and that is what is making it impossible for those governors not to allocate money to them. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much. Now let's get back into this conversation. And you made mention of accountability, which is really key, which is what you stress that the local government autonomy would give. But now let's talk about checks and balances at the local government level. One of the callers earlier talked about the fact that there's no there's no judicial check at the local government level. How am I sure that whatever monies that comes into the account of the local government will be used judiciously? But before you respond, let me talk to Prince YS. Hello, good evening.
Thank you, Gary, for talking to me.
Prince YS, you're welcome.
Thank you, my dear. You see, we want local government to be independent. We want it. I must be. That is what is causing democracy. We are practicing this Saturday. We want, whenever you say we are practicing liberality, the system growth for America, expensive, and not corruption. We must follow to the later. Or we go back to
I'm struggling to hear you. Maybe you change your location a bit.
Let me do that immediately. I want to run out of where I am.
Okay. It's better now. It's better now.
So the best thing to do, let local government be. When it comes to corruption, not only in the local, the corruption in the state, in the federal system. You have to see a accountant general take more than 90 billion a week. Our money, the money. So what I'm talking about? When you see a minister, that is central woman, 37 billion. When you see the whole central bank governor being taken to court every day, this of his property, billion from billion. So when you talk about corruption, it's in our blood now. It has been rampaging to the extent nearly swallow every one of us. That's for that. But when you say local government, they must be independent. Let you have a independent local government that can serve the local. Yeah, look at yesterday now. Our governor was in the federal governor was talking working back to land. So the local government, the land belongs to the local government. They have to do mechanical farming. They do mechanical farming. Be a lot of storage in the local, a lot of storage in the state. and we can feed ourselves. So anybody tell me that local is no, they can be and let them be. Let me stop here for that to come in.
Thank you very much, Prince Wise. Please, maybe you want to respond to that. The issue of checks and balances for the SSCs of the local, because even now that the token in code that is still being received, some local government can still not give account of those monies. So what happens when you get it direct from the federation accounts? Who checks them? How much of a risk is that?
Well, there's nothing that's not a risk, first of all, but the good thing is when autonomy is gone, like I said before, there is no umbrella of is the state that carried the money and they do not give me. No more pointing fingers. So you know directly that okay, you got your money at the local government. Why hasn't it been spent judiciously? We have the State House of Assemblies that perform some sort of
oversight functions.
And then we also have our anti-corruption bodies. We have EFCC, ICPC. We have all these things. If you are in your local government and you are not seeing what's going on, you have every right to invite them. There are civic groups to write to them. This is what's going. There are so many recourses that are out there for the private citizen, and of course, the president, the federal government of Nigeria is not going to sit down, fold his hands, and be looking when they have been giving you money. They are not. They will ask you what happened to it.
Okay.
There's no expenditure from the local government that comes out without a signature.
Sure.
So who is signing money out? There's always an explanation.
Okay. During the build-up to the 2023 general election, the station was privileged to host almost 90% of the governorship candidates in Lagos State, from the PDP to the Labour to Accord. And one particular question that I was sure I asked every single one of them is the issue of agberos in Lagos State. It's a menace. It's not something we can shy away from. And all of them gave different ways they're going to solve the issue. But it looks like these guys are more powerful than we think they are. So Dayo Dada is texting on Facebook and he says, help me ask your guest, the agberos that collect money from Lagosians, who do they work for? The local government or the state government? And the monies that they collect, what do they use it for? And I'm asking you a straight question that way.
The agberos in quotes. I just call them unfortunate unemployed persons. They're not working for anybody. I would not say that we don't know who they are. That would be complete lie. But they are not working for or with anybody's authority. When we catch wind of, okay, this is what this person, we call them to order per se. I will not say it's a state problem. I would say it's a local government problem, because we know them, they're in our communities. Yes, we know their religious heads, we know their family communities. And it's not a matter of, just telling them to get off the street.
So these monies don't get remitted to the local government?
They don't belong to the local government. They're not remitted to the local government. When we catch wind that, I've had a few cases personally where somebody will come in, someone stopped their car and carry them to one office. They said they are task force. I'll ask them, are you in Alausa? They say no, it's one local government. So go and give the person the phone, and I go ballistic. And I always report them to their vice, my fellow colleague. And those ones also lose it, because you try and curb them and they go, there's one of my persons, a younger brother of a friend of mine, I would say he was kidnapped from Antoni here and taken to Mushi, because they know they can't operating in Mushi. They've told them, get off the roads. They will come somewhere else, back door, and go and operate. This was on a weekend, so nobody's even at the local government. So he said, they gave him fines, they'll write some fictitious papers, they say you do not collect this license. It's wrong. We're trying as much as possible to curb them. But I think we can also do better by channeling their energies in a different direction.
Okay, more calls are coming in. Hello, good evening, Mr. Austin.
Hello, good evening.
You're welcome.
Good evening to the guest after.
Good evening.
I think I disagree with her totally on the issue of the Agbero.
Please go on.
Yeah, totally. Because the paramount effect is this, and I want to answer.
when that incident came that says if you are not from so and so tribe, don't vote for this. Now the main issue is that the fear is that if that man on Labour Party to enter, the Agbero tenure in Lagos State might not end per se, but there will be it will be very lesser for them to operate. To me, I believe not that somebody is telling me. I have seen both the federal and the state. Their hand is in this bureau because they have a leader. So I'm not saying Agbero should not operate, but in most cases, if I'm going to work from my bus stop, I walk within Yanera to my school. A single bus will pay up to 9,000 before getting there. Different buses, different junction, you see them with uniform. So I disagree that they are not working for anyone. They are working for the state. That's my own.
Thank you.
That is what I have done.
Thank you very much. I'm sure my guests want to respond to this one. So let's go real quick.
Okay, so let me clarify something. There's a difference between Agbero and then the people who are collecting tickets from local government. The ticket from local government is a lawful remittance for park and licensing. There's a difference between that. We're speaking about the Agberos, the ones that just come out and they work and they kind of harass and impede
wear slippers,
and
remove your wiper
and they're not lawful. So because we have the lawful ones, there are other people that are taking advantage of that. The local government has the right to collect those licenses and taxes. It's under the law for them. So he brought up the issue of, so they said, when someone not coming in to destroy the Agbero, it's not a matter of Agbero, like it's an indigenous person. People keep forgetting that Lagos does have indigenous person. Like Mr. JD said, one person came to come and meet him with an AK and said, he said it was, are you
Omonile? Are you from?
That doesn't really have anything to do with local government. Omonile, it's their, they feel threatened that, okay, you're coming to encroach. Lagos is a multi-dimensional space. But whether we like it or not, there are some people that are indigenous, and sometimes these indigenous people feel very threatened. That, okay, this is what we have left that we're holding on to, and you want to take it away from us. That is an orientation. It's not about politics. That's a culture and an orientation. We need to be able to differentiate between the two.
Okay, thank you. Beautiful response. I have messages on WhatsApp, and all of them are just coming up into each other. I'm trying to see which of them I will be able to pick, but we're really pressed for time. And before we say our goodbyes, okay, this one says apologies. Okay, this is Olani on bio. Okay, and you say good evening, and thank God for another beautiful day. I always enjoy your program and riding on. God bless you. Now we're talking of local government autonomy. Let's start talking about the salary and pay packages now after it has been granted, because that is going to generate another issue on its own. Okay, thank you very much. Your message, Emmanuel in Ikeja, says, with what you have said, that organization may damage one item or the other. Then ask you, is not a supervisory unit in your local government council to monitor? Okay. I didn't get your message well, and I appreciate if you can resend it. Mr. Laba, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, and I greet the beautiful queen there. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Alaba is my name. I'm wishing for Ojo in Lagos. So let me quickly correct one impression. There is one particular praise that I caught concerning the road that links from those down to Igbete. We should not forget that is trunk B. That, you know, we have trunk A, trunk B, and trunk C.
Yes.
Trunk B is not under local government. It's just part of church. It's under state government. Even I have called on your particular program on this radio station that Governor Someone needs to come and fix Alaba from vote.
Mr. Alaba, I appreciate if we can still squeeze in. We've got about 2-3 minutes to say our goodbyes on the show. But I will admit it's been an amazing conversation with you, and I guess it's what I expected. I knew there were going to be a lot of calls and backs on this one. This one says people should stop saying that the local government authorities are corrupt and therefore they should be denied autonomy. That is a disturbing narrative. Please, they must be granted autonomy and be voted into office so that the local people would hold them accountable for monies collected to them straight from the federation account. You can't hold them responsible in the current dispensation because they are not there by your own decisions. That's 𝐿ᴏᴜᴛᴏᴜ. What is your takeaway on the show today, especially in respect to how you feel that the people perceive the responsibilities of the local government? Talk to us about that for our goodbyes.
First of all, I'm quite fascinated that people have this much interest in local government and they don't show up at the polls on the election days. So, yes, I've heard a lot and I can see people have a passion for their local governments actually functioning. I mean, in Lagos State, we have a few months to our local government election. So this is the time to get involved. If you really think you have something to offer, join a political party. Encourage people that are joining political parties. Encourage people that are running. Support people to run. Increase, encourage and foster the democracy at local government level, so you can see your democracy work for you and your local governments can also work for you. So I hope most people that have called in today make up their minds that they're going to let their voices be heard at the polls. That's where your power is, and we hope you're going to show up at the polls and let your voices be heard. It's actually been wonderful speaking with you, OPEYEMI.
Thank you so much. I reached out last week and you gave me your word that you will be on the show today, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Barrister Honorable. This is the first time I'm calling honorable all through the show. Barrister OLUFUNKE REKIYA HASSAN, the vice chairman of ōnīgbòǹgbò LCDA. Yes, thank you for spending time with me in this situation today. And just like you said, it's a few months to the local government elections in Lagos, so we're going to try and reach out to as many local government chairmen that are willing to be with us. We've had the chairman from Mushin join us, we've had from Badujai, we've had from the vice chairman from Kosofe as well. Now we have the vice chairman from ōnīgbòǹgbò LCDA. We'll reach out to as much as we can so that we'll provide this scorecard. Come talk to us about how you've been doing or acting or behaving or delivering in the past years that you've been in office. Thank you very much once again, madam, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's about the size of the package. A big shout out to Kunle Lawal of the Electoral College, by the way. He linked me up with my guest today some months back, and I've just keep it on there. Thank you so much to everyone that reached out, to everyone that joined on the show, to the calls, the messages. Apologies the calls that we can't pick anymore. We're really pressed for time. Keep your dial logged on mainland 98.3 FM. By 5:30 the full bulletin would come through, and by 6 o'clock I will be back for Sport Cruise 6 to 7 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM. Don't forget that the responsibility of everyone to build and sustain this democracy is what we hold there. This is Nigeria, the only place you can call home. My name is OPEYEMI AKINYODE. Thank you so much. God willing, 1 to 3 p.m. tomorrow I will be back for Midweek Politics, and 4 to 5:30 p.m. tomorrow situation continues. Stay safe and keep your dial logged always on mainland 98.3 FM, because we are the sound of Lagos.